think we are live. Sterling set. Let me just check quickly where we are. Yeah, we are live. Let's know. One more thing that I have to do. Think we are live. Okay. ጤናስጥልኝ ተመልካቾቻችን ዮፍታሄ ሙላቱ ገብሩ ከዮፍታሄ ሾው ዛሬ አንድ ወንድማችን ኢትዮጵያዊ ያሳለፋቸውን ታሪኮች የኦሎምፒክ ድሪሙን ከዛም ደግሞ አሳልፎ ህይወትን እንዴት አሸንፎ አሁን ባለበት ሰዓት ላይ suffer for good የሚል ታይትሉንም እንዴት አድርጎ እንደያዘ የሰራቸውንም ፊልም ደግሞ በኋላ ትሬለሩን ፕሮዲውሰሩ ጋር አብረን ዳኒ ጆይን ያደርገናል 8:30 አካባቢ እስከዛ ድረስ ግን ከሰብ ጋር አብረን ቆይታ እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው ሁላችሁም በቺን ሰዓት 8 PM ሾው ስለተገኛችሁ እናመሰግናችኋለን የቅዳሜውንም ሾው ከዛ በኋላ እንነጋገራለን ማለት ነው ኦኬ ስለዚህ ወደ ዋናው ፕሮግራም እንግባና ሰብ ዮፍታሄን ሾው ጥሪ አክብረህ በዚህ ስለመጣህ እግዚአብሔር ይባርክልኝ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ሰላንተ ትንሽ ተጫውተን እንግዲህ ደግሞ የሰራሃቸውንም የደረስክባቸውንም ደረጃዎች ለሁላችንም ብዙ ትምህርት ስለሚሆን ብዙ አብረን እንጫወታለን ማለት ነው እስኪ መጀመሪያ ስለራስህ ስለማያውቅ ሰው ካለ ማስተዋወቂያ እንዲሆን መግቢያ እንዲሆነን ስለራስህ ትንሽ አጫውተን
በመጀመሪያ እግዚአብሔርን አመሰግናለሁ ለዚህ ሁሉ ውጤት የረዳኝ እግዚአብሔር ነው በኔ አቅም አይደለም በማንም አቅም አይደለም መጀመሪያ እግዚአብሔርን ማመስገን ወዳለሁ በሚቀጥለው ደግሞ ራሴን እንግዲህ ለማስተዋወቅ ሰብ ዘውዴ ይባላለሁ ያደኩትና የተወለድኩት አዲስ አበባ ከተማ ውስጥ ነው አዲስ ከተማ ወክማ ብዙ ጊዜ አዘወትር ነበረ ከትምህርት ቤት በኋላ የርኩ ስፖርት ጨዋታ ነበር የተለያዩ ስፖርቶችን የቴብል ቴኒስ which is እዚህ ሀገር ፒንግ ፖንግ ነው የሚባለው እሱን ጨዋታ ነበረ እግር ኳስ ባስኬትቦል ሁሉንም አይነቶች ስፖርት ሞክር ነበርና አንድ ሰው ጥሩ ስፖርተኛ አሰልጣኝ የነበረ ሰው በጣም ጎበዝ ስፖርተኛ ነህና ወደ አንድ ስፖርት ኦሎምፒክ የሚወስድ ስፖርት ብትቀጥል ጥሩ ነው አለኝ እና በአገራችን ያን ጊዜ 3 ስፖርት ነበር ኦሎምፒክ የሚሄደው ብስክሌት ሯጭና ቦክሰኛ ነበር የሚሄደውና ሶስቱን ሳወዳድረው ሩጫም የሚሆነኝ አይደለም ብስክሌቱም ከባድ ስፖርት ነውና እስቲ ቆይ ማንንም ብለም አላደርግም ቦክስ ውስጥ ልግባ ብዬ ቦክስ ገባሁኝ ማለት ነው እና ቦክስ ውስጥ እንደገባው በጣም በአጭር ጊዜ ውስጥ ጥሩ ውጤት አገኘሁኝ በህፃናት ውድድር ሻምፒዮን ሆንኩኝ ከዛ በኋላ 8 ወር 10 ወር ባሞላ ውስጥ በጋዜጣ ላይ በህፃናት ውድድሮች ትልቅ ጨዋታ ኢንተርናሽናል ጨዋታ ውድድር ነበርና እዛ ላይ ለመክፈቻ የወጣቶች ጨዋታሉ ተብሎ እዛ ላይ ተጫወትኩኝ ማለት ነው እና በአጋጣሚ ጋዜጣ ላይ ወጣሁኝ ሳላውቀው እኔ ሞጣቴንም አላየሁትም እና መንገድ ላይ ናቸው ሰዎች መጥተው አንተ ነህ እንደ ብለው ያሳዩኝ ደንግጬ ራሴ እንደ ጋዜጣ ላይ ወጣሁ እንደ ብዬ ዛርኩኝ እና ወምሴ ብዙ አዘወትር ነበረ በዛው ቦክስን ቀጠልኩት በጣም አዘወትር በጣም በቃ ፍቅር አስያዘኝ ከምን ጊዜውም በላይ ብዙ ሲያሳዘኝ ነገር ቢኖር ቦክስ ነው እና በየትም ቦታ ሲር ጓንት ይዤ ነው የምሄደው እና ቦርሳ ውስጥ እና ሰብን የነከሰች ውሻ ጓንት ተፋች ይባል ነበር እና ሰፈር ውስጥ ጓንት ስለምዞሩ ጊዜ በቃ እና በዛው አደኩበት እና ዋይምሴ በቃ ቤት የሆነ በዛው አደኩኝ ቀጠልኩኝ ወደዛው ወደ 17 አመት ሲሞላኝ ወደ ብሔራዊ ቡድን ገባሁኝ ማለት ነው
እርቀን ከመሄዳችሁ በፊት መቼም ወክማን ዋይምሲኤን ብዙ ያደገ ሰው ትዝታለውና ስለ ዋይምሲኤ ትንሽ ተጫውተን ወደ አንተ ታሪክ እንገባለን ብዬ ነውና የዋይምሲኤን ትንሽ ታሪክ ለሚያዩ ሰዎች የአዲስ አበባም ሰዎች ልጆች ስላሉ ለነሱ ማነሻሻ እንዲሆን ትንሽ ዋይምሲኤን እንዴት እንደጀመርክና እንዴት እንደተሰራ ምን እንደነበረ ዋይምሲኤ ራሱ ለማያውቁም ደግሞ እዚህ ሀገር ላደጉ ልጆች ዋይምሲኤ ማለት ለአዲስ አበባ ልጆች ምን እንደነበረ ትንሽ ብታጫውተን
ዋይምሲኤ እንግዲህ ያንግ በጣም ወጣቶች የክርስቲያኖች ሚኒስትሪ ነው ያንግ የሚኒስትሪ ክርስቲያን YMCA ለቱ ጊዜ በክርስቲያን ቤዝድ ኦን
ትንሽ ላስቸግርህ ይቅርታ ስልክህን ድምጹን ቀንሰው
ኦኬ
ኤኮ እንዳያደርግ
በአሜሪካን ስር ነው ያለው YMCA እና እዛ መጥቶ ሲከፈት ብዙ ወጣቶችን ካልባሌ ቦታ እየሰበሰበ ቦታ ነው YMCA ብዙ ስፖርተኞችን ያፈራ በጣም ታዋቂ በኢትዮጵያዎች ብቻ ሳይሆን በአለም ዙሪያ ታዋቂ ስፖርተኞችን ያፈራ ቦታ ነው ከእህቶቼ ጨምሮ እህቶችም በጣም የታወቁ ቴብል ቴኒስ ተጫዋች ነበሩ በአገር ቤት እና ብሔራዊ ቡድን ነበሩ ተጫውተው ብዙ ኢትዮጵያን ወክለው ብዙ ሀገር ሄደዋል እኔም እዛው የነሱን ፈለግ ተከትዬ እዛው አደኩኝ እና YMCA ብዙ ጊዜ እናዘወትር ነበር እና YMCA ሳይኖር ራሱ ሰፈር ውስጥ ስውል ሰብ አትሄድም እንደ ወክማ ይሉኛል ሰፈር ውስጥ ተንኮል አረግ ስለነበር በጣም በቃ ማረገው ነገር በጣም ተንኮል አረግ ነበርና ሰፈር ውስጥ YMCA በጣም ሁሉን ነገር ይሰበስበን ነበርና አንድ ጊዜ ቦክስ ከጀመርኩኝ በኋላ አይረሳኝም ሰፈር ውስጥ ቁጭ ስል በቃ ተንኮል ማድረግ የሆነ ነገር ማድረግ ነው የሚያስበው ሁሉ ጊዜና የማስተዋት ስባሪ ይዤ የባስ ስቶፕ አለና የባስ ስቶፕ ውስጥ ሲቆም በሩ ሲከፈት ምን የጨረሩን አውቶቡስ ውስጥ ያሉ ፓሰንጀር ውስጥ እንትን አደርግ ነበርና ከዛ በጣም ሰው በቃው አይኑን ሲይዝ በቃ ለኔ ደስታዬ ነበርና እሱን አድርጌ ማታ ወደ ወክማ YMCA ትሬኒንግ ለማድረግ ሄድኩኝ ማለት ነው እና የሚያሰለጠኝ ቦክስ ያስጀመረኝ ካስወልድ ይባላል አሁን ሞንትሪያል ነው ያለው እሱ ሲያስጀምረኝ ከዛ እና ከኔ ጋር ነው ትሬኒንግ የምታደርገው አለኝ እና ብዙ ደበደበኝ ለምንድን ነው እንደዚህ የሚደበደበኝ በቃ ይኸው ወሰንኩኝ እንደ ሁለተኛ ቦክስ አልመጣም ብዬ መረረኝ በደንብ ነው በቃ ከንፈሬ ሁሉ ደማ በቃ በጣም ደበደበኝ መጨረሻ ላይ በቃ እኔ ወስኛለሁ ሁለተኛ ወክማ የሚባል ቦክስ የሚባል አይደለም ብዬ ደስል ከዛ በኋላ ከጨረስን በኋላ ወሰደና ምግብ አበላኝና ለምንድን ነው እንደዛ መስዋዕት ሰብረ ሰው ውስጥ ጨረር የምታደርገው እኔ እዛ ውስጥ እኮ ነበር እኔ ላይ እኮ ነው ያደረኩት አለኝ በጣም ደነገጥኩኝ
ተያዝክ ማለት ነው ልታመልጥ አልቻልክም ማለት ነው
እና ጀስት በጣም ወክማ ከእንደዛ አይነት ነገር ይጠብቀናል በእውነት ወክማ ባይኖር በዛ አካባቢ ብዙ ወጣቶች ልጆች ባልባል ይወድቁ ነበር በመጥፎ ቦታ ላይ እና በጣም YMCA ብዙ ትዝታለን ሲኒማ አለ በኤቭሪ ሳተርዴይ ሲኒማ ይታይ ነበረ ቅዳሜ ያለው የልጆች ፍቅር ያለን የነበረን ጌት ቱጌዘር በጣም የሚረሳ ጊዜ አይደለም YMCA በእውነት የማይረሳ ቦታ ነው ትሩትታለችም
እሱም ብዬ ነው ምክንያቱም ብዙ ልጆች የሚያሳልፉበት ነበርና አንዳንድ ሰዎች እንዲያውም ከመጥፎ ነገር እንዲወጡ ብዙ ኮቾች አሰልጣኞች የሚያሰለጥኑበት ቦታ ስለነበረ እዛ ሄደው ብዙ ተስፋ ሌላ እድልን አግኝተው አንዳንድ እናንተ ስናወራ እንዳልከው ድራግ ውስጥ የሚገቡ ሌላ ነገር ውስጥ ከመግባት ስፖርት ላይ ማተኮር እንዲችሉ ብዙ ሰዎችን ያዳነም ቦታ ነው ብዬ ተስፋ ስለማድረግ ብዬ ነው ጥሩ ስለዚህ አሁን አንተ እንዳልከው ለኦሎምፒክ መዘጋጀት የጀመርከው መቼ ነው ማለት ነው ወደ ቦክሲንግ ሙሉን ፕሮፌሽናል የገባህበት ሰዓት መቼ ነው
ከልጅነት ጀምሮ በእንግዲህ ቦክስ የጀመርኩት 9 ዓመት ልጅ ሆኜ እና በጣም ወደድኩት ስፖርቱን ኢን ቢትዊን በመሀከሉ ሌሎች ስፖርቶችን ጨዋታለሁ ሶከር ባስኬትቦል አንተ አጭር ነህ ባስኬትቦል አትችልም አንተ ሶከር አትችልም ሲሉኝ በቃ ያው ቦክስ ውስጥ ገባውና እዛው ቀለጥኩኝ እና መጨረሻ ላይ ያው ጁኒየር በህፃናቶች ውስጥ ሻምፒዮን የሆንኩኝ ብዙ ጊዜ ቆየሁኝ ከዛ እድሜ 17 ዓመት ሲሞላ ብሔራዊ ቡድን ውስጥ ገባሁኝ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ከብሔራዊ ቡድን ከመግባቴ በፊት የሸዋ ሻምፒዮን ምርጫ ነበርና ሸዋን ወክለን ለኢትዮጵያ የናሽናል የኢትዮጵያ ሀገራችን ውድድር ማለት ነው እና እዛ ውስጥ ገባሁኝ እዛ ውስጥ ከገባሁ በኋላ ሻምፒዮን የኢትዮጵያ ሻምፒዮን ሆንኩኝ በክብደት ባለኝ በተመረጥኩበት ክብደት ማለት ነው ከዛ በኋላ ብሔራዊ ቡድን ገባሁኝ በዛው ቀጠለ በቃ ከዛ በኋላ በ1984 ላይ ኦሎምፒክ ማጣሪያውን አለፍኩኝ ማጣሪያውን ካለፍኩ በኋላ ኦሎምፒክ በ1984 በአውሮፓውያን አቆጣጠር ከዛ ጊዜ በቃ ከዛ በፊትም ያው ብሔራዊ ቡድን ውስጥ ነበርኩኝ ግን ያ ትልቁ ዓላማችንና ጎላችን ኦሎምፒክ ለመሄድ ነው አብዛኞቻችን እና ፎከስ የምናደርገው ያንን በአራት ዓመት ጠብቆ የሚገኘው ኦሎምፒክ ለማግኘት ሁሉም የሚጓጓውና መካፈል የሚፈልግበት ስፖርት ነው ሯጮቹም ብስክሌተኞቹም ሁሉም ኦሎምፒክን በጉጉት ነው የሚጠብቁት እና በጉጉት የጠበቅነውን ነገር እዛ ውስጥ ገባን በዛን ሰዓት ግን በግሌ ለኦሎምፒክ ዝግጅት አድርጌ የነበረው ለብቻ ለራሴ ለማንም ሳልናገር ጠዋት 5:30 ተነስቼ ወደ 3-4 ማይል ሮጬ እንደገና ቤት መጥቼ ትንሽ ሻወር አድርጌ የሚበላውን በልቼ እንደገና ደግሞ ቁርስ ሌላ ሁለተኛ ትሬኒንግ አደርጋለሁ ለማንም ሳልናገር እና ያው ብሔራዊ ቡድን ከተመረጥን በኋላ በዛው ቀጠለ ማለት ነው እና ዝግጅቱ ቀላል አይደለም በእውነት እስከተወሰነ ጊዜ ተራራ ባየው ቁጥር ሁሉ ጋራ ሁሉም ሮጠው እየመሰለኝ ተራራ ማየት ያስፈራኝ ነበርና ያሮጥነው ዳገት አልነበረም በሀገራችን በእውነት እና ትልቅ አድካሚ ዝግጅት ነበር።
ጥሩ ወደ ኦሎምፒኩ ሀሳብ ከመግባታችን በፊት አንድ ሰው ቦክሰኛ መሆን እፈልጋለሁ ብሎ ሲያስብ በጭንቅላቱም በሰውነቱም ምን አይነት ትሬኒንግ ነው ለመዘጋጀት ያለበት? ምንድን ነው የሚያስፈልገው? አንድ ሰው ጥሩ ቦክሰኛ ለመሆን ምን ያስፈልገዋል ትላለህ?
ቦክሰኛ መሆን ይሄ እንግዲህ የስጦታ ጉዳይ ነው። አሁን ለምሳሌ በትሬኒንግ በማሰራባቸው ሰዎችም የተለያዩ ፊልሙ ላይም አለ ፕሮፌሽናል አትሌቶችን ሳሰለጥን ሁላችንም ስንወለድ የራሳችን ጊፍት ይዘን ነው የምንወለደው። ስጦታ አለ። አንዳንዱ የራሱን ፍጥነት ይዞ ነው የሚወለደው። የራሱ ፍጥነት አለው። አንዳንዱ ደግሞ የራሱ ስለሆነ ሲፈጠር በቃ ረጋ ያለ ሰው ነው። አንዳንዱ ደግሞ በጣም ፈጣን ነው እና ሲወለድ አንድ ሰው ፍጥነት ኖሮት ስፖርት ቢጨምርበት ደግሞ የበለጠ ፈጣን ይሆናል ማለት ነው እና ከተፈጥሮ ጋር የተያያዘ ነገር ነው ማንኛውም ስፖርት። ለዚህ ነው ምሩጽንም ስናያቸው ለዛ ነገር የተሰጡ ናቸው። እነ መሐመድ አሊን በሀገራችን የታወቁ ስፖርተኞች እነ ኑራዮ እነ ሰዓሩ ሌሎችም ጓደኞች እነ ገብረሕይወት የተለያዩ እነ ታደሰ አወቀም በሙሉ ለዛ ነገር የተሰጡ ናቸው እና ከዛም አኳያ ከተፈጥሮ አኳያ ደግሞ ያንተም ጥረት ያስፈልጋል እና አንድ ስፖርተኛ ጥሩ ስፖርተኛ ለመሆን በአንድ ስፖርት የተለያዩ ስፖርቶችን አትሊስት 3 ስፖርት ሌላ መጫወት አለበት ለራሱ እና እነዛን ነገሮች ይረዱታል ኮኦርዲኔት ለማድረግ ያንን ስፖርት እና እኔ የረዳኝ አሁን በራሴ ሳየው ፒንግ ፖንግ ጨዋታ ነበረ፣ ሶከር ጨዋታ ነበር፣ ባስኬትቦል ጨዋታ ነበር እና እነዚህ ሶስቶቹን በሳይድ አድርጌ ግን ቦክሱን that's my main subject አድርጌ የራሴ ዋና ሳብጀክት አድርጌ ምሰራ የነበረው እና በዛ ላይ ፎከስ ማድረግ ብቻ ሳይሆን ሌላው ስፖርቶችን መጫወት አለባቸው። በዛም ደግሞ አኳያ ቦክስ ስፖርት በጣም አድካሚና በጣም በአይምሮም ሆነ በሰውነት በስፒሪቹዋል በጣም ካራ ሰው ያስፈልጋል። ለምን ተሸነፍ ብሎ ጊቭ አፕ የማያደርግ ወድቆ የሚነሳ ደከመኝን የማያውቅ ዛሬ ሰውነቴ ዛለ አሮጥም ብሎ መተኛት የለም። የሚበላውን ወጭ ያደርጋል። ያገኘውን ዝም ብሎ አይበላም እና በጣም ስነ ስርዓትን ያለው ስፖርት ነው እና በጣም ስነ ስርዓትን የሚያስተምር ስፖርት ነው። ስለዚህ አንድ ሰው ወደ ቦክስ ዓለም ሲገባ ይሄን ሁሉ አውቆ ነው መግባት ያለበት። ጠንካራ ነኝ፣ ክብደት አንሺ ነኝ፣ ጡንቻለኝ ብሎ መግባት አይቻልም። በጣም መጥፎ ቦታ ላይ ይወድቃል ሰው እና ከልጅነት ቢጀምር ደግሞ ጥሩ ውጤትን ያስገኛል። ሰው ካደገ በኋላ ግን ቦክስ ልክ እንደ ባህር ዛፍ ወይ አንድ ዛፍ ካደገ በኋላ ወደ ሌላ ነገር ለመምራት እንደማይቻል ማለት ነው እና በልጅነት ግን ቢጀመር ሁሉም ስፖርት ጥሩ ውጤትና አጥጋቢ ውጤት ያመጣል። ግን አንድ ሰው ኖርማሊ እንደኔና እንዳንተ ያለበት የሚኖር ሰው ግን ስፖርቱን ጆይን አድርጎ በጣም ሊሰራውና ሰውነቱን ሊያዳብርበት የሚችል ስፖርት ነው ለመወዳደር ሳይሆን ማለት እና የቦክስ ስፖርት በጣም አድካሚና አስቸጋሪ ስፖርት እንደሆነ አውቆ መግባት አለበት። ግን አንድ ሰው ወደ ቦክስ ይገባ
እኔም ከመወዳቸው ኤክሰርሳይሶች ቦክሲንግ ነው እና በሳምንት 3 ቀን ማረጋው ስለሆነ ደስ ይለኛል። አሁን ወደ ኦሎምፒኩ ታሪክ እንግባና ያን ያህል ትሬኒንግ አድርገህ ለመሄድ ስትል ያጋጠማችሁ ችግር ነበር በዛን ሰዓት ላይ እና ምን እንደተሰማህና ችግሩስ ምን እንደሆነ ለማያውቅ ሰው ዓመተ ምሕረቱን ጠቅሰህ ምን እንደተፈጠረ በዛን ሰዓት ላይ ትንሽ ብታጫውተን።
ብዙ ሰዎች እንግዲህ በዚህ በኦሎምፒክ ብዙ ጊዜ የኮልድ ዋር ይሉታል እዚህ ሀገር የምስራቅና የምዕራቡ በዛን ጊዜ ሶቪየት ዩኒየን በነበረበት ጊዜ የራሽያ የሚከተሉ የራሽያን ሶሻሊስት ሀገሮች ነበር በዛ ሰዓት እና ሶሻሊስት ካንትሪዎች ቡልጋሪያ፣ ቼኮስሎቫኪያ፣ ጀርመን፣ ቻይና፣ ኩባ የተለያዩ ሀገሮች እንደኛም ሀገር በሰዓቱ ሶሻሊስት ነበር። የሶቪየት ዩኒየን ተከታዮች ነበር ማለት ነው በሰዓቱ እና ሁላችንም በጣም ጠንካራ ትሬኒንግ ነበር የምንሰራው። እንደውም አሰልጣኛችን ከራሽያ ነበር የመጣው ለዚሁ ዝግጅት ለብዙ ጊዜ ነበር የሚያሰራን። ሆቴል ውስጥ ሆነን በቀን 3 ጊዜ ነበር ትሬኒንግ የምናደርገው። 5:30 ጠዋት ትነሳለህ in the morning። ከዛ በኋላ ወደ 3 ማይል ሮጠህ ላይ ፑሽ አፕ ሻሩ ቦክስ እንደዛ አድርገህ ቁርስ በልተህ ሻወር አድርገህ እንደገና ደግሞ 9:30 ላይ እስከ 12:30 ወደ 3 ሰዓት የሚሆን ፕራክቲስ አለ። ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ እንደገና ምሳ በልተህ እንደገና ሻወር አድርገህ 3 PM እና አፍተርኑን ሌላ አይነት ወርክአውት አለ እና እንደዛ አይነት ወርክአውት ያደረግን ሁላችንም ጠንካሮች ሆነን ነበር። በጣም እንደውም አንድ ስለ ቦክስ ታሪክ ስለ ኢትዮጵያ ቦክስ ታሪክ የሚያውቅ ሰው ሲነግረኝ ምን አለ፣ በህይወቴ ዘመን ብዙ ቦክሰኞች አይቻለሁ የኢትዮጵያን ታሪክ። እንደናንተ አይነት ደረጃ ላይ የደረሰም የለም፣ እንደናንተም የሚያዝም ወደፊትም አይኖርም። እንደዚህ በቀን 3 ጊዜ የተሰራ ትሬኒንግ ሆቴል ውስጥ ቁጭ ብሎ ለ6 ወርና ለ7 ወር የሚያዝም ሰው የሚኖርም አይመስለኝም፣ ባህሉ አይረሳኝም። እና ዝግጅቱ በጣም በቃ ይሄ ነው አይባል፣ በጣም አድካሚ ነው። በጣም አድካሚ ሱሉልታ ዳገት ትሮጣለህ ሄደህ በሳምንት 2 ጊዜ እንዲሁ የአዲስ አበባን ከተማ አወቅኩት በሩጫ ነው ማለት ይችላል። ብዙ ከተማ ባላቅም አዲስ አበባ እና ዛሬ የምትሮጡት በዚህ ነው ሲሉ ደግሞ በሪበከንት ምናምን ስሞቹን ሁሉ አወቅኩት በሩጫ ነው እና ያ የስፖርት የኦሎምፒኩ ስፖርት ሁሉም ጓግቶ እንሄዳለን ብለን ባሰብንበት ሰዓት ያው የሶሻሊስት ካንትሪ በመሆናችን በዛ ሀገር በመሆናችን በዛ ሰዓት መጨረሻ ላይ ነው ኢትዮጵያ ያሳወቀችው። ቱዴቱ ነገ ሆኖ ዛሬ ነው ኢትዮጵያ ያሳወቀችው እና ከዛ በፊት ግን የራሽያ ቲም ወደ እግር ኳስ ከኢትዮጵያ ቡድን ለመጫወት ይመጣ ነበር እና ኢትዮጵያ ግን አላሳወቀችም። ሎስ አንጀለስ አንሄድም ብላ አላሳወቀችም ለኦሎምፒክ። አሁን ራሽያ ስላላሳወቃችሁ አንመጣም ብሎ የናሽናል ቲሙ ቀረ። የራሽያ ቲም ትኬት ገዝቶ የነበረው በሙሉ ቀለጠ። ሰው ጨዋታውን ለማየት በዛ ምክንያት ተደናገጠ። ፌዴሬሽኖች፣ ኮሚሽነሮችም ተደናገጡ። በዛ ምክንያት በቃ ብዙ ተነገረ። በቃ ኢትዮጵያ አንሄድም ተባለ እና በዛን ሰዓት በጣም ያሳዝናል። ብዙ በተለይ ደግሞ ሯጮች ንብሩት ይፍጠር በዛ ሰዓት በጣም ብዙ ሀገር የሚካፈልበት ኦሎምፒክ ስለነበረ ጉጉታቸው እዚህ ላይ ስማችንን እናስጠራለን፣ ሀገራችንን እናስጠራለን ያሉበት ትልቅ ዝግጅት ነበር እና እንባውት ሰው ነው ያለቀሱት። እኛም ራሳችን ከዛ እንሄድ ላይ በቃ ጥቁር መጋረጃ ነው በቃ አላችን ላይ የወደቀው ሁላችን እና በጣም አዘንን። በቃ ምንም ጎል የሌለው ሰው ሆነን በቃ የምንሄድበትም ግራ ገባ እና ሁሉም በጣም አዘነ። ሯጮች እንባውተው ያለቀሷል። እኔ ግን በውስጤ በጣም በቃ ምን እንደማደርግ አላውቅም እና ጀስት በጣም አዘንኩኝ። ሰው ደክሞ የልፋቱን ዋጋ ሲያጣ በጣም ያሳዝናል እና በዛ ምክንያት ሳንሄድ ቀረን። ያው የፖለቲካ ጉዳይ ነው እና የሶሻሊስት ጉዳይ ሁላችንም አዝነናል በጣም።
ኦኬ፣ ያው የሚያሳዝን ነው መቼም ብዙ ነገር ይታይ ነበር በዛን ሰዓት ላይ። ከዛ በኋላ ለብዙ ጊዜ ቀጠልክበት ቦክሲንግን ወይስ ያኔ ያቆምከው ነው? ፊልሙን እንግዲህ ሁሉም እንዲያየው ትላንትና ገዝቼ ሪሊዝ የተደረገው ትላንትና ነው። አሁን ዳኒ ሲመንስ ጆይን ሲያደርገን ስለ ፊልሙ ሞር ያኔ እናወራለን እና እዛ ከፊልሙ ላይ ከመግባታችን በፊት ስለለበስከው ቲሸርት ለመጠየቅ ማለት ነው። እንግዲህ መቼ ነው ወደ አሜሪካ የመጣኸው እና ሰብ ቦክሲንግ የሚል ጅም እንዳለህ እሱ ጋር ከመግባታችን ግን ሳፈር ፎር ጉድ የሚለው ስሙ በጣም ነው ደስ ያለኝና እንዴት አድርገህ ነው ሳፈር ፎር ጉድ የሚለውን የመረጥክበት ምክንያት ምንድን ነው ብለህ ብታስረዳን?
አዎ እንግዲህ እንግዲህ 1984 ኦሎምፒክ አሰልጣኛችን ራሻዊው አሰልጣኝ በጣም የተወሰኑ ቦክሰኞችን እየመረጠ ያሰለጥነን ነበር እና አንደኛው እኔ ነበርኩና ሩጫ ስለማልወድ ብዙ ጊዜ አንድ ቀን እንደውም ለብቻ ተገናኝተን ከምታስሮጠኝ አልኩት የፈለግኩትን አላድርግ ገመድ መዝለል ጥሩ ዘላለሁ እና ገመድ ለ45 ደቂቃ ሳላቆም ልዝለል አልኩት ትችላለህ አለኝ እና ግን አትሩጥ በለኝ አልኩት እና ሰጠኝና እንደዘለል ስዘል ገረመው 45 ደቂቃ ዘለልኩ አይሆንም ማለት መሮጥ አለብህ እንደዚህ ተነጋግረን አልነበር ኖ በራሻ ተቆጣ ተሳደበ ከዛ እሺ አልኩና በቃ ሳፈር ይለኛል እንደዛ ሲሰራ ሁሉ ዝም ብለ እየተከተለ ሳፈር ከዚህ የበለጠ ሳፈር ምን አለ እንጂ በፀሐይ በተቃጣጠሎ ፀሐይ እኮ ነው የምንሮጠው ዳገቱ ደግሞ ዳገት ያምሳል ከዚህ የበለጠ ምን ሳፈር አለ ምን ልሙት እንዴ ላለኝ በቃ እና ለማለት የፈለገው ነገር በኋላ ነው የገባኝ እና አንድ ከበደ ባልቻ የሚባል ጎበዝ ሯጭ ነበርና ጠየቁት እንዴት እንደሚሮጡ 42 ኪሎ ሜትር በቃ በጣም አስጨነቀኝ ሁለት ጊዜ በሳምንት ሁለቴ ለመሮጥ በጣም ለኔ ጭንቅ ሆነብኝና ሆቴል ውስጥ ነን ከየትም አታመልጥም እና በራ ተንኳኩቶ መክፈት አለብህ መሄድ አለብህ ሱሉልታ ሰሜን ገበያ የሚባል አካባቢ ይጥሉናል ከዛ ወደ ሱሉልታ ነው የምትሮጠው እና ኤሌቬሽኑ ሃይ ነው በጣም ኃይለኛ ዳገት ነው 5 ኪሎ ሜትር እና ሲጨንቀኛ አንድ ከበደ ባልቻ የሚባል ጎበዝ የዓለም ሻምፒዮን ነበር ማራቶን እና ከቤ እንዴት ነው የምትሮጡት 42 ኪሎ ሜትር በጣም አስቸገረኝ እስቲ ንገረኝ ሚስጥሩን አልኩት ከዛ ለመጀመሪያ 25 ኪሎ ሜትር የምትሮጠው 20 ኪሎ ሜትር የምትሮጠው ለነፍስ ነው አለ ምን ማለት ነው አልኩት መጀመሪያ ላይ የሚያሰልፏቸው ማራቶን ሲጀምር ጎበዝ ሯጮች ፊት ለፊት ነው የሚቆሙት ወደ 200 የሚሆኑ ታዋቂ ሯጮች ፊት ለፊት ላይ ነው የሚቆሙት እና ልክ መነሻው ስታርቱ እንትኑ ሲተኮስ ሁሉም ሲነሱ አንድ አይነት ስፒድ ይዘው ነው የሚነሱት እና በዛ መሃል አንተስ ቀስ ብትል ትገፈተራለህ እና ትወድቃለህ የመነሳት ጊዜ የለም ከኋላ ወደ 500 እና ወደ 800 ውስጥ የሚሆን ሰው ነው ከኋላ ያለ አንዳንዴም እስከ 1000 ይሆናል እና ያ ሁሉ ሰው ይረግጣል አንዳንድ ጊዜ ሲነሱ ስታርት ፖይንቱ ላይ የሚሞት ሰው አለ አይነገርም እንጂ አንዳንዱ ፓራላይዝ ሆነ ምክንያቱም ያ ሁሉ ሰው ነው የሚወጣበት ምንም ጊዜ የለህም ለመነሳት እና ለነፍስ ነው የምትሮጠው አለ አላቅም ለነፍስ ትሮጣለህ ያችን ከዛ በኋላ ከ25 ኪሎ ሜትር በኋላ በተንተን ይላል ከ25 እስከ 35 የምትሮጠው ሩጫ በቃ ሰው አንገት ላይ አንቆ ጉሮሮህን አንቆ የምትሮጥ ነው ይመስላል ሞትና የነፍስ ጉዳይ ነው በቃ ያን ጊዜ በቃ በጣም የምትጨነቅበት ነፍስ ውጪ ነፍስ ግቢ አይነት ነገር ከ35 ኪሎ ሜትር በኋላ ግን ሰውነት በድን ነው አለ በቃ ልቆም ብትላቀም ማለት በቃ ሰውነት ጫው ሙሉ ሰውነት ጫው ነው አለ ስዋም የለም አላ እስከ ዝም ብለህ መሮጥ ነው አለ እንደዛ ነው እንደ ገባኝ ከዛ በኋላ ገባኝና ያቺ ሳፈሯ ታይም ያቺ between 25 35 ኪሎ ሜትር ያለችዋ የነፍስ ውጪና የነፍስ ግቢ ነው ያቺን ካለፍክ ግን ሰውነት ግን ይሄዳል እና ሰዎች ብዙ ጊዜ ያቺን የሳፈር የመሰቃያውታን ቦታ ያቁሙና ወደ ሌላ ነገር ይገባሉ ማለት ነው በእኔ ማወራለ እንግዲህ በህይወታችን በሚያልፈው ጉዳይ በኑሮዎችም ላይ የሚያልፍ ሰውን የሚገለው ራሱን የሚገለው ያቺን የመስቃውን ቦታ ማለፍ አቅቶት ነው እና እኛም ስንሰራ ስፖርት ስንሰራ ያቺን ማለፍ ያቅተንና ወይ ከውድድሩ እንወጣለን ወይ ደግሞ ዲስኳሊፋይ እንሆናለን ወይ ደግሞ ጊቭ አፕ እናደርጋለን መሮጡም ሁለተኛም አናደርገው እና ያቺን ሳፍር የምትለዋን ነገር ነው በአይምሮ የቀረው የራሻው አሰልጣኝ ማለት ነው እና ያቺን ሳልፋት ጥሩ ይሆን እና በዛ ምክንያት ነው ሳፈር ፎር ጉድ የሚለውን ከተሰቃየን በኋላ ጥሩ ነገር ካያንስና ካም ነገር ይሆናል ስለዚህ ነው በዛ ምክንያት ነው ሳፈር ፎር ጉድ ያወጣሁት ማለት ነው
That's a beautiful title. Danny, welcome on board. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Great to have you here. So we're just finishing up a little bit with Seb with one more question, and then I'll come to you right away. Right
Great.
after.
It sounded beautiful, Seb. I gotta say.
Yeah, you have to learn Amharic soon.
I know. It's give me a little bit more time. Yes, thank you.
ሰብ እንግዲህ መልእክት ማለት አሁን በምታስተምርባቸውን ቦታዎች ላይ ጂም ደግሞ ሰርተህ ምን አይነት መልእክት ነው አሁን ቦክሰኞች መጥተው ሲገቡ ለዛ ለህይወታችንም ብቻ የሚጠቅም እንደሆነ
No, cut off. Danny, I think you have a mic, Danny, in your t-shirt?
I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you.
Do you have a mic in your t-shirt?
Do I have a microphone? No, I just have my AirPods.
Do I have a mic? Yeah. As soon as you join, the sound is getting cut off.
You can mute it maybe while we do that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, cut it down.
Yeah, he's fine now.
Okay. እሺ ጥያቄውን ድገምልኝ አልሰማሁም።
ኦኬ ጂም በምታስተምርበት ሰዓት ምን ሜሴጅ ነው ብዙ ጊዜ ለተማሪዎችህ ማሳለፍ የምትፈልገው? ምክንያቱም ሁሉም ከተለያየ ደረጃ ስለሆነ የሚመጣው ያንተ ስታስተምር ምን ተማሪዎቼ ምን ይዘው እንዲወጡ ነው የምፈልገው ትላለህ?
ተቆራርጧል፣ ግን የተሰማሁትን ያህል የሰማሁትን ጥያቄ ለማስተላለፍ ሞክራለሁ። መልሱን ጂምናዚየም ውስጥ እኔ ጋር ሰዎች ሲመጡ ማንኛውም ሰው ሳሰለጥን እንደ ተጫዋች እንደ ፋይተር ነው ማሰለጥናቸው። ይሄ ክላይንት ነውና ዝም ብዬ ላባላባ ሰርጌ ላስኪደው አይነት ሳይሆን ደንበኛ የቦክሱን ስነ ስርዓት ትምህርቱን ስኬሉን እንዲማር ነው የምፈልገው እና ከዛ በኋላ ያለውን ጥሩ ኖሌጅ ላይ ሲደርስ ልጁ ማስተማር ይችላል ወይም ሚስቱን ማስተማር ይችላል፣ ጓደኞቹን ማሰልጠን ይችላል ማለት ነው። እና ልክ እኔ እንደ ሰልጥኜ እንዳለፍኩት ነው ማሰለጥናቸው እና ትክክለኛ የቦክሱን ስፖርት ስኬሉን ሳይንሱን እንዲኖራቸው ነው አድርጌ ማስተምራቸው እንጂ ዝም ብዬ የቦክሲንግ ፊትነስ አይደለም ማሰራው። እና የደንበኛ የቦክስ እውቀት ትልቅ ሳብጀክት ራሱ ቦክስ ራሱ ትልቅ እውቀት ነው እንትን የማስተማር እንትን እና ከዜሮ ጀምሮ ከሃይ ሌቭል የሆኑትን አትሌቶች ነው ማሰለጥን ያልነበረው እና አንድ ጊዜውም ስፓሪንግ ካደረጉ በኋላ ያሰለጠንኳቸው ልጆች እነዚህ ይማራል እንግዲህ ዝም ብሎ ራይተርስ፣ ካሜራማን፣ ሎየርስ የተለያዩ ስኬል ያላቸው ሰዎች ናቸው እና ከጨረሱ በኋላ ጥሩ ስፓሪንግ አድርገው የት ነው ቦክስ የተማራችሁት? ከዛ በኋላ ዩቲዩብ ላይ ተማራችሁ ላይ ወክ ከዛ ወደዛ መሄድ ሲጀምር ሳቁብኝ። እንደምን ያስቃችኋል ስላችሁ ምንም አናውቅም ነበር ካንተ ነው የተማርነው ምንድነው የምታወራውኝና አይ ጥሩ አሰልጣኝ ማለት ነው ብዬ እኔም ራሴን አሞጋገሽ እና እንደዛ አይነት ነው ሜንታልም ፊዚካሊም ጥሩ እውቀትና አንደርስታንዲንግ ኖሯቸው እንዲሄዱ ነው ፈልገው ከቦክስ ሰው በትዳር ይሸዋለው፣ በተለያየ ነገር ይሸዋለው፣ በሪሌሽንሺፕ፣ በፋይናንስ፣ በስራ ቦታ ላይ ብዙ ነገር የሚያልፉበት ነገር አለ እና ያንን ነገር ሁሉ መተው ይነግሩኛል። አሁን ቦክስ ግን ሲሰሩ ወርክአውት ሲያደርጉ ከኔ ጋር ግን በሙሉ አይምሯቸው ፎከስ የሚያደርገው ቦክስ ላይ እና ለዛን ሰዓት ሪሊፍ ያደርጋሉ። ለሰዓት አንድ ሰዓት ከግማሽ ሰዓት ያን ነገር አያስቡትም። ግን ሌላ አይነት ስፖርት ሄጄ ለስራ ስትል ዮጋ ወይም ደግሞ ራኒንግ ዌት ሊፍት ሰራ ግን ስቲል ከዛ ካለህ ችግር ጋር አይምሮ ስቲል እዛ ነው ያለው። እዛ ላይ መርሳት አይችልም። ቦክስ ላይ ግን ስትመጣ ያንን ነገር የትረሳ ያደርጋል እና ያንን ነገር እንዲያገኙ ነው የምፈልገው። እኔ ጋር ሲመጡ ብዙ ጥሩ እውቀትን ያገኛሉ። ደስ ብሎኝ ነው የምለያቸው፣ እነሱም ደስ ብሏቸው ይሄዱ።
Okay, Danny, we're going to come to you right now. You can unmute yourself. Thank you again for joining us here. For the viewers who don't know you, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I directed the film Suffer for Good, which is starring and about the life, Seb Zewdie's life, Seb Fetan Zewdie. And I was lucky enough to be one of his classmates or pupils in his boxing gym. And that's kind of that's where we met and became friends and started making the film.
Okay. And tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, we want to know who you are, about your career, what you do.
Oh, great. Yeah. So I'm a director and director of photography, and I shoot for a living. So I take photographs, I shoot stills, I direct a lot of commercials and things of that sort. And this is my feature debut. So I've directed a pilot starring Kimberly A. Bear Gregory. She was on HBO's show Vice Principals. I directed a pilot with her in it, and Ryan Michelle Baffet of This Is Us, executive produced by Sterling K. Brown of This Is Us. And I was a director and producer on that. That sold to Fox. And it was a big show and an opportunity called Every Other Weekend, created by Adrian Carter. And I met Seb in that process. So I've directed a lot of comedy up until this point, and Seb's story is so endearing, authentic, real, and inspiring. So it's interesting to have crossover where I like doing wild comedy and then a story like Seb's, which is a character story that happened organically through meeting him in real life. So it's been this experience has kind of been my evolution as a filmmaker. So I was working in the corporate structure, which is where I met Seb. So I, at one point was working in entertainment on the distribution side and, crunching numbers. And Seb all along knew I had this other passion that I was burning the candle at both ends, filmmaking and then working and suffering for that. Right. This was my personal project. This was my goal, right, to be a filmmaker. So Seb kind of inspired me to do that. And in turn, we both, I feel like it's been a mutually beneficial relationship in the fact of like, it's our time to make something, to do something. And I think the way we met was, Seb told me that there were some guys who said, "Hey, I'll do a documentary on you," because he does have an amazing story and he represents so many beautiful things about his experience, his, the philosophies that guide him, his faith. I mean, it just tells you a lot about what it takes to overcome. I thought everything about him, even in the first class that we shared, he was funny and slapping me and punching me. I was laughing, and it was like this back and forth. But I was enjoying every bit of it. And then it was also a learning experience. Like, wow, I didn't know how hard boxing was. I'm so I'm not even in the tip of the iceberg, and it's like really challenging. And this whole dance, it is a sweet science. And then I got obsessed with it through Seb. And then I'm grateful that we made this film. It took so long to make. I know it was hard to do this over such a period, 5 years and really 6 years in when we talk about like the film festival run. And now we're here. It's out in the world. We're top 25 on iTunes. We're actually at like number 15 on iTunes in the world. So it's growing, and we're in the news and noteworthy section on iTunes. So it's cool to see Seb's face up there next to, various famous stars like Anthony Hopkins. It's just wild to see that along with, Seb and then Anthony Hopkins. And, it's just I don't know why that's the particular name I'm coming up with, but that did happen. So it's cool. It's been a great experience.
Definitely. We'll talk more about the film. I'm going to show the trailer. I bought the movie last night on Apple TV and I watched it. It's beautifully done. And we'll dive in a little bit, but let me just quickly show the trailer for some people and then we'll be able to tell them where they can get it.
Great.
Life is challenge, boxing is challenge. Same time, you lose, you win. Same thing. Life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Move a little bit. You're gonna say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Here's a coach now. 1, 2, dot, 1, 2, slip, 1, 2, back, 1, 2.
Well, I know that he suffered a lot and he deserved to go on the Olympic team. It's like working so hard to become president. Like they just say, "Oh, you can't become president." That's not fair.
So I want to be a tiger, I want to be a lion, I want to fight. Always I said, I want to go back to boxing. Always, when is going to be my dream come true? Boxing keep my dream alive. So I get motivated to do one more fight. I must fight again.
You're trying to work out so then you'll be in shape in the future. That's suffering for good. Suffering for the good.
When you're a fighter, you're always a fighter. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter how long it's been. There's always a part of you that wants to do it again and feed that kind of flame that's buried for years. I think it's exciting.
We have a nature of fear. It doesn't matter how strong we are. Our body has a butterfly and anxiety, and we have to pass that.
And is it okay if I bet money that you would win the fight?
Of course.
Okay.
I love that. I love the question. Is that your son at the end? So that was funny. Like he bet that. So definitely amazingly done. We will talk to people like where they can get it at the end of the thing. So before we decide to make a movie as a documentary, you have to decide this is a story that needs to be told. So Seb, at what moment or when you have that conversation with Danny or whoever, it's like this documentary is going to come. It's like an undertaking. So what made you decide to turn your life into a documentary so that all of us can learn from it?
Yes, Danny, first we met and he said, are you from Cuba? And I said, no, I'm not from Cuba. I told him I'm from Ethiopia, and I said, okay, tell me about your story. I told him, and you have a very interesting story. What do you think if you make well, I told him we had a plan to make a documentary movie on my story. And I said, what happened then? He said, I have my good friend of mine, he's so kind of busy, he's been saying, we'll do it, but he can't do it. So, can I do it? He said, yeah, okay, of course. And the next day I was training MMA fighters in another gym. He showed up with the camera. I thought he was joking. I said, wow, this is serious. And the story is just when I told Danny, and he was impressed about my story when I told him. I said, really, it's a very interesting story you have. I said, I want to do it. And this story, it just is a brave, it just really encourage people, motivate people that were not able to achieve their goal or to pursue their goals. They can go back. Like I told you earlier, as boxers, they can get knocked out, but they have to get up again. So not only winning, just losing, also giving and teaching you a lesson so you can get back to your track. So this movie is, we assume, 100% is very, very touchy, true story. And some people, after we finish the screening in LA, they ask me, when's going to be part 2? So this movie is really, really based on true story, and there's no fake. There's no script. So it's just a really touchy movie that I think everybody will enjoy it. Yes.
Definitely, people have to watch it. One of the things, the team that I just wanted to share without giving away the movie, the documentary, is the drive that you had starting. At some point, dreams were crushed, but how you picked up, and not only you were teaching all your students in your gym, but how much also you wanted to go back into the fight and to the ring. That was so inspiring. I was counting down with you guys when the countdown come before fight day. So that was beautifully done. So it gave me hope. And then I was with you. I was walking with you. I was training with you in all my head. So it's definitely a good way, the documentation that you have done it. And like you said, it's raw, it's real. And I felt, I was feeling your pain when you get punched, when you're punching. I was with you. So it's definitely. Danny, back to you. So at what moment after hearing Seb's story, you said, this is something that we need to turn in to capture into documentary so that others can learn? What was the moment that made you do that?
It was actually, it was right away. When you say like love at first sight, right? There's sometimes like, Seb, no, but it was more just like, wow, this is exciting. And then we had that first meeting, and I think when I shot and I saw Jared there, and we found out while he was training, he's a former UFC fighter who's in the film, and it was the first day that I knew him from high school, and I was like, wow, I remembered him as a kid, as a freshman storming around El Camino Real, and he and his brother, and I was like, wow, this is just a serendipity, serendipitous. Like, this is meant to be. The universe is bringing us together. Two guys from the Valley and Seb. We're gonna make a movie, and the reality is we did, and then I showed it to first I showed it to Arnon Manor, who's at Sony Pictures. He's an executive, and he was like, "Hey, you got to make this into a feature film." He donated some drives to us. He's like, "Here's some hard drives. You're gonna need hard drives," because I didn't have a lot of money, but it was like the first gift that kind of pushed us in the right direction. And this year he's nominated for an Oscar. So it's like the guy was like, hey, he can recognize talent. And he's just a wonderful kind of a mentor to me in the process, in the same way that Seb was. So that was like within a week. And then we showed it to Trevor Ward at Sony. He liked it and said, hey, you got to keep going. And then we brought on Ben Del Guercio, and he shot some stuff. And we're just kind of building this team, and it kept growing and gaining momentum. But really, it was the drive that Seb had that kind of kept the whole thing going, because his momentum was this internal fire, and we kept creatively trying to write story where it was like, hey, we're going to put you in front of the Coliseum so you have this experience that is visceral and traumatic maybe, but we're going to just let it happen and see what it looks like to not be able to go inside because there's this fence. And how does that relate to your experience with these walls and these fences? Because there's so much there's so much with that. And I thought it was just so cool how Seb and we were able to find this connection, and just he let us into the home, and it was a very poignant time to be seeing him and he and Matty as they're developing a relationship, father and son. And then you see Matty wise beyond his years, and like kind of this, this perfect example of what good parenting is, right? And it's just like this full circle thing. So I think every step of the way it's been organic. The challenges have always been internal for me, like becoming a filmmaker. How do you do it? How do you tell the story the right way? And I think once we finish it, it's been refreshing for both Seb and I, because we too, through the film, we suffered, we challenged ourselves. But I think that ethos of like suffer for good is something that's kind of universal. Everyone can use it. It can be applied to if you want to write, or if you want to make, write poetry or make music. Everyone, you just have to suffer and challenge yourself. And ultimately you'll find that through the journey, you'll get the fruits of your labor. So Seb, it's all him. And I'm just lucky to be the vessel for Seb. So that's all Seb. You know what I mean? I'm just holding the camera.
You did an amazing job. Maybe another time we will schedule for you just to talk about the process of filmmaking and what you're working on. So we'll do another program on that one. Seb, back to you. Just like Danny said, the road data, like the way you were communicating with your kids, laying down on that couch, the kind of question your son was asking you, it was captivating. And then I was picturing myself as a father, the kind of dialogue that you're having and how much invested your kids were in it. And at some point, if I remember, how did you learn this? It says, you taught us, we learned this from you. So they are capturing as you go. So this process of filmmaking, how did it how did it grow your family, or how did it affect it? What was the process that you had to, because you have to adjust also your schedule, because living is one thing and filmmaking is one thing. So how did it affect how much that you had to adjust your life and your kids and with your wife too?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It was really, really tough challenge. It has a big time, to be honest. And I didn't tell for my wife until I did the fight. It just until she saw the movie, actually. And I told my son, my oldest son, Matt. I just told him only for him. He's the only now knows. The other two kids, they don't know. And to bring the camera to my house, it was kind of tense. And the neighbors, and what the heck is doing this guy? Just the camera come to his house. What he's doing, and it's just people saying different things, and at the same time, sometimes we sit in the house with the camera. It just Seb, it's not right. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I just it was painful. It wasn't easy. I mean, to sit down in front of the camera for hours and hours, and we have to do it again and again. Always, I related with the boxing again, what I passed through. And our coach, he told us, ask us one time, how many, you think good boxers, how many combinations they have? He said, we said 2 or 3, 4. And he said, no, they have 1 or 2. That's it. Most of them, they have 1. So I want you to repeat that combination again and again, again. I want you to have muscle memory. And I said, okay. Then during the filming time, they do it again, like 10,000 times. We do it again. And he come back again, said, our sound system is not good. We have to do it again. Oh, we don't have time. I have a kids. I have a client to teach. I have a class to teach. I have a fighter to teach. What are you?
Hey, that's just because we're not good. Don't put. Hey, sorry, Seb. We were learning.
No, that was good. That's how it is. Everything has to be a repeat. So to get it out, and then it shows how well you guys worked and coordinated with it. So
it was tough. Sometimes, okay, Seb, now we have to wake up 5:30 in the morning. We have to go to the mountain. I want you to run. So he's another coach. Okay, I'll come.
He is.
We have to go. We have to go run in the morning, 5:30 in the morning.
Coach, where are you? It's 5:31. You're a minute late. You owe me 20 push-ups. He's like, okay, Dan, that's enough. I was like, all right, 15 push-ups, Seb.
So it really was hectic, but we go through it. We suffer for good, like I said again. That's why we do it. So to make it perfect, we have to repeat again and again. So I handle the situation. I go through it, and we're now, we're successful now. We are here right now.
That's good. Similar question for you, Danny. Different project that you have to work on, and then going into people's home, documentary versus movie. Fictional movies is a little bit different because the documentary is more intimate to everything that you have to do. So what does it take whenever you are doing this? What was the awe moment for you capturing the life story of Seb?
I think the odd moment is definitely when Ebby and Effie are asking Seb, questions like, where did you learn boxing? You know what I mean? And they're going through the map and they're saying, is this Ethiopia? No, that's Canada, Daddy. You know what I mean? And they're going and showing each other the globe. And I thought that all happened so organically. And it was just the kids were asking the most poignant questions. That was perfect. When did you learn boxing? How did you first teach boxing? Who are you, Dad? You know what I mean? It was just, and oh, you want to know, kids? Well, it was just it was very charming. So that stuff just happened. And we, I think the fun part is that you can produce certain stories to happen, and then some things happen organically. The kids questioning and all of that sort was really just authentic being there, a fly on the wall. And then there are other things like going to the Coliseum, which is more structured and intentional, but those still have these aha moments, like Seb being in there for the first time and seeing it. It was very epic. And it does capture, since then they've actually remodeled it. And so it no longer has the same look. It doesn't look like the 1984 Coliseum anymore. It's kind of cool. We captured a period in time. But yeah, it was all said, it was a trust game coming into the house, and I'm very lucky to be able to be there because they were so kind to me and the whole team.
That's good. Seb, so personal question that people will learn in the movies, but might help to capture a little bit. You had a call it a stabbing, almost life and death situation that you had. Remembering that situation that you have, and then sitting right now with the family members, having your kids, and how do you, it's like saying, sometimes we may say we are lucky or we adjusted our life. So for some people who are going through tough time, and what message would you have right now? It's like, because suffer for good by itself, it's a lot of message in it. But if you tell us a little bit about that story, that what happened to you, and then how you came out to where you are right now?
That's a good question. Just here is unboxing helps a lot for a lot of people that I said. Well, like I said earlier, people we passing over our life is always daily challenge, and no matter what, if you're rich or poor, and people that think I've been working with very rich people. I've been seeing them, I teaching them, I work out with them, but still they have a challenge. They have money, but still they have a problem. But they have to go through it. Really, the guy I like, he's a doctor. He's one of my good clients, and he has a lot of money, and he couldn't pass through the challenge, and he died. He took overdose drug, and he's 54, I think 52 years old. He's a successful doctor. He has a big house and is wealthy, but he couldn't pass that challenge. And it's very sad. And so people, they have to know they can pass that problem or challenge. It doesn't, the challenge comes to lose or to gain, to win. So most of people, they want to win all the time. It's okay. Just lose it with the fight and pass it. And you learn right from that fight, you go back to it again. Most people that have egos, they don't want to lose. So they have, want the win. Always they need to win. It's not going to work like that. And I mentioned last time, Mike Tyson with Danny, we have a talk show. And Mike Tyson during this Empire time, his time, and he was knocking out everybody. He's knocking out first round, second round. He barely finished a couple of fights in 12 rounds, and he used to knock out everybody. But by the time he had a good fighters, and he got knocked out badly, and the reason he got knocked out very badly is in and around, and he go to bar, he's fighting different, he was doing so many, different things that unnecessary things he was doing. He would go to jail, and just so many, very unnecessary things. But if in his prime time, if you have good fighters in opponents like Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Sonny Liston, good fighters, if you're around him, he's gonna focus in his career, his boxing. He's gonna focus in the gym. But when you are winning all the time, it's not going to be a good success. And sometimes for our life, we need to lose. Not by voluntary, but sometimes you have to let it go. And you will pass out problems. Most of us who have egos, so always we're going to win, it's not going to work. So I used to go to downtown sometimes and with my shirt, and I see homeless African Americans and I used to box. Are you boxers? And this guy, when they told me their story, they were good fighters, but they didn't kill themselves. They go through it. I have been searched before we made this movie. Even I looked at it. Most soccer players, especially football players in the U.S., and they ended up broke and they killed themselves. Even the soldiers hear it every day.
Yeah.
And because they don't know how to fight their problems. And I was shocked when I see 60, 65 years old in downtown, old boxers, they walk in with the cane and still they survive. But they don't have anything, but they just eat and they live. But some people, the other people, the other football players, they don't know how to fight. They kill themselves. So generally, I like to say, just let it go. And you'll pass through it, and not try to win all the time. That's a good conclusion that I say.
That's good. Good message. We're going to take about maybe 2 questions or 3 from the audience, and then we will come to. Let me see. Orion is asking you, Seb, who's your favorite boxer in the world and from Ethiopia?
From my prime time, my old times, which is before I started, when I was a little kid, Kasuwalde was a great boxer, which was my coach. Bayu Ayala, Lamai Mane, they were the great fighters. and Hassan Sharif. Hassan Sharif, I play a little bit with him. I mean, I spar with him. But my time is Lun Rayo, Daniel Haile, Sadu Makrea, it's Lun Rayo, Amorao, and Brook Aspau. All the way, our group was really good groups. That all of us were the good fighters. But the best boxers that I won't forget is Kasu and Grima Haile. That are unforgettable boxers. That are a good model for me.
Good. Danny, same question to you. Who's your favorite boxer?
Seb Zewdie. No, yeah. Yeah, that was an easy one. No, that was just too easy. I'd say currently boxing, it's, Seb, he still says he wants to do it. So I want to see him do a sequel. We're already thinking about it. No, but right now I loved watching Mike Tyson fight. I really enjoyed his style. I know it's just a brawler style, but it's fun. Evander Holyfield, and I mean, he's just a great boxer. Muhammad Ali is one of the greats, obviously. I even like watching Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Those guys are just so fun to watch. And it was a beautiful sport. I learned a lot through researching and watching the highlights. I even, I like the way Floyd Mayweather boxes, to be honest. Avoiding punches is sort of something that, he does a good job with his jab, and it's really fun. I know some people don't like it because he doesn't engage as much as we'd like, but he's making a lot of money, and he's avoiding getting hit in the head. I don't know. I don't want to get hit. I'm not tough. I'm just a guy with a camera. So I go, hey, Floyd, keep it up.
Right.
If I could do it, I could make how much you're making doing that. I mean, I'm not that quick. I just stand still. So, but yeah, those are some of my favorites.
Good. Next question. Did health professional recommend boxing? Is there any advantage? Seb?
You cut off one more time.
That's the question. Did health professional recommend boxing? Is there any advantage?
Health profession is different aspect to have. We like earlier, Danny said, boxing is not a fight; it's a skill. Okay, if you have the right tools to use in the ring, if you know how to box, not fight. Everybody can know how to fight, but everybody don't know how to box. So the fighting and the boxing is different. So if you know how to box, you'll be okay. But if you fight, you'll be in danger. So as a profession, medical doctors, of course, nobody want to get hit in the head. Look at it like Danny said, Mayweather. And my skill, I want to teach hit and run, it's called. Hit and run. Okay, always when you have a skill, do not stop in front of your opponent to avoid you get hit. Cool. So why, if you have the skill, if you have the tools, why you get hit? That's the point. So most of us, we get hit is when you get tired because you didn't run enough. You don't like running like me, so you get hit. So, so that would be dangerous. So if you have the right tools, this is a good sport. I say, that's my opinion. But other profession, the doctors, I'm not a medical doctor, so I cannot say they call it sport or not. And the worst sport is the MMA is even worse sport than the boxing. You get hit every football. Concussion, maybe they're concerned about concussion. As concussion is, everything is good concussion. If you get in the shoulder suddenly, that's concussion. And if you hit suddenly in the head and something, that's concussion. And the most difficult part is for boxing is during the sparring that we do. This is tough workout. That's really tough. And then instead of you guys is watching the boxing, the toughest is during the skill. The practice that we do really hard sparring. We do. The sparring shoot on the TV, that's very easy. The sparring is more tougher. But as a athlete, as a coach, boxing is a good sport. But I don't say that. I don't know doctors what they're gonna say.
I love it. I mean, for me, for exercise, any other exercise that I do, it's not giving me the full workout that I'm looking for. I don't do the contact one, but it's more for the bag and then following. So it's definitely, I have found it to be very, very beneficial for me. So I definitely, for Salim, I recommend it for anybody because it's just the full engagement is there, the interaction is there. The coach is yelling you, and you don't want to give up. You'll have someone like Seb coming around you and telling you one more time. And I used to be in the army too, so it reminded me the drill sergeant time. So we're coming to the end of the show. So I want to give you both a chance to talk about the movie. For anybody who hasn't seen it, why should they pick it up? What should they watch it? And then where can they find it? So I'll start with you, Danny. Why should anybody watch this movie?
I think Seb is a perfect example for what a father figure should be, and he's an inspiring person, and this story will inspire you. Suffer for Good is a film that will relate to all audiences. It's universal. It's a theme that you can apply to anything you enjoy in your life. And I believe after watching it, you'll be inspired, whether it's to go write that book, to exercise more, or just to make your life better. I believe this is like the first step, and it's an easy 70-minute step into getting inspired. And moreover, I think in a world that's very negative, this is a positive story. And we need these types of stories that are heartfelt, character-driven pieces about, someone like Seb Zewdie, Seb Fetan Zewdie, who's an unexpected hero in our story. So it's like he's there, he's our man, and it's beautiful to see him evolve throughout the picture. So I'm grateful that I was here to tell the story, and I think that it's important to be seen today.
Seb, just in your own words, why should we watch it? And I'll share my why people should watch it, because I watched it last night. So why do you think people should watch this movie?
It's a tough question. So I'd like to say, if they watch it, number one, this is the first movie that's made about the boxer history, about Ethiopian boxers. We don't ever have any good. There is a good boxers, way better than I am. So they should have a movie. But I have a chance. I have a privilege to do this. This is a great number one. Number two is for where he came from. How did I get here? I supposed to come for the other Olympics, but didn't come. I didn't come for the other Olympics, but I ended up LA. How? And that's this kind of thing. Very interesting story. They can look at it how I ended up in Los Angeles. But I had a plan to come LA for the boxing, but it didn't work. And that's number two. Number three is it just if they watch it, they can see, they can then achieve their goal. They can go back, pursue their goal, and that helps them a lot. And between fathers and children, and the way I communicate with them also might pass a little bit message for other parents, and especially my oldest son, we met, and he was really a good friend for me. He's not my son. I see him like a friend, and we talk openly, we discuss, and that's the way it's supposed to be with the kids and with the parents and relationship, and that helps also for the parenting, and also where we come from, and that's another story, and they can learn from that where I came from, and they can they can get some message from that to motivate them, to inspire them, and
definitely
I say yes.
I appreciate both of you. And for me to give it a review, it was historical that I was able to get back to where you started. It was touching as a parent, as a father, the interaction that you have with your kids. That by itself was touching for me. I was captivated the whole time. The way you interacted with your wife, even when she was talking about coffee, that by itself was captivating for me. The kind of question the kids were having. But for most of all, it was very inspiring in this difficult time. Danny mentioned it at the beginning. This was a very positive way. It's not about just making these grandiose things, but real world data that we follow people's life. And I was able to get to know you just in 1 hour and 9 minutes, I think something it was. It was real and it was touching. And then I was captivated the whole time because there was nothing made up about it. So the human connection was so real, and how much drive, not only how much you're putting teaching your students and how much you're putting in your kids, but you were pushing yourself also age, with your knee hurting and everything else, you were putting it all in there, and then seeing you in the ring, I wasn't there with you. So for anybody who needs to watch this movie, I recommend it. It's well done, well documented, Danny. I really appreciate that you took the time and you decided to make this movie for all of us. Like Seb said, we don't have any other Ethiopian boxing that had made their stories on the screen. And this is a beginning, that there will be more to make. And then it's definitely I appreciate both of you. So thank you very much for coming to the Yoftahe show. I appreciate both of you, Seb, and then Danny. Definitely will have you on board, just to have also what your story is. I love to hear that. Any last word, message that you have with the show? For both of you, I'll give you just a short last minute, any message that you want to send out to the group. Danny, you start, and then I'll have it with
Okay.
you.
Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for having us on. It's an honor. Please, if you can stay tuned with Seb at Seb Boxing, right? We also have Suffer for Good Film. For anything film related, Suffer for Good Film. And please pre-order, rate it. We have a raffle. Just so you're aware, we have created the Seb's Holiday Raffle. If you have downloaded the film and you rate it, we are going to be giving away $200 cash. So that's a giveaway. The film is going to make sure we get you $200 cash. We also have donated $200 to charity. So it's a nice little giveaway. So with all of you who have supported our film, please send it to sufferforgood@gmail.com, and we will announce the winner on December 25th, Christmas Day. And we do really appreciate you for your support. And that email blast just went out. So stay tuned for any updates, and you can follow Seb. Seb, I'll let you take over.
Seb, any word you want to say?
Yeah, they can order the Amazon and Google Play, and they can order iTunes, Apple TV, and also on all this media is released yesterday. They can watch and they can write on reviews, and they can contact me, sebboxing.com. They can get my all information, sebboxing.com. You can email me, my email address there, and my phone number there. You can contact me. And thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Definitely, I appreciate both of you. It's really a great time to have had you. Very inspiring. Like I said, I bought it last night from Apple TV, and I recommended to watch it with the family members, just like they said. So Danny and Seb, thank you very much. This is Yoftahe. Actually, this is a good segue for the Saturday show that we're going to be having. Seb said it earlier, not only with boxing, but when people are suffering and going through things, that activity, the doctors definitely recommend that doing sports. So we're going to be talking about suicide. Every 40 seconds, someone dies by suicide. So this is a very difficult time because of COVID or other things, especially when Christmas is coming and a lot of people are not able to get together. We're not able to check on a lot of people. Please make one phone call to check on someone to say, how are you doing? And then any kind of help that you can offer. So tune in at 12 noon this Saturday on the Yoftahe show. It's going to be on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to talk about suicide. It's a very difficult topic, very sensitive topic, but something that we definitely have to talk about. So that was going to be this Saturday coming up. So once again, for all the viewers, thank you very much for being here. Danny and Seb, thank you again for this time. We will contact each other and we'll find another way to bring you back both on a show. I appreciate you. Once again, I always end my show. Take care of each other. This is Yoftahe Mulatu Gabru from Boston, Massachusetts. See you soon. Bye.